Are you going to have your RV in any of the coastal states between Texas and Massachusetts between June 1st and November 30th? Well, you might consider making a plan for hurricane season. Because as you can see right here, if you look at all the history that's gone on, hurricanes have gone anywhere in that time period. Now, if you look at this picture right here, what you'll see is the hurricanes for the last 20 years, and you'll notice that they basically span anywhere from Texas up the coast towards Massachusetts. And finally, if you look at this picture right here, you'll see in the last 10 years pretty much the same. If you're interested in putting together a hurricane plan, then stay tuned. Welcome back to our channel. And if this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Don Reimel, and along with my wife, we live life intentionally as nomads. And on this channel, we provide videos that include our weekly show, videos about our adventures, and then videos about information just like this one here. So, my wife and I are both Floridians. We live the majority of our lives in Florida, and we've also lived in other places. And through that time, we have about 45, 50 years of experience during hurricane season. And we've experienced a number of hurricanes ourselves. And even when we lived in Virginia near Richmond, the first year we owned a house there, we were hit by a hurricane. So we have a lot of experience with it, and that's why we wanted to create this video. So that if you have an RV and you're in an area that you might have to be concerned about hurricanes, you can. So in this video, we're going to provide 12 recommendations of what you need to do to be prepared for hurricane season. And on top of that, at the end, we have a bonus item too. So you should stay through to see that. So the number one thing on our list of recommendations is you making a decision, do you want to leave or do you want to stay? And for the purposes of this video, we're going to consider that you've made the decision to leave. Particularly if you're a full-timer, you don't want to lose your house. And on top of that, if you have an RV that you want to make sure stays safe, you're also going to want to leave when a hurricane comes and there's a risk of having damage to your area. The second recommendation we have associated with hurricane season is planning. Planning is really urgent. So to do that, I'm going to go back inside and we're going to cover number 2, which is planning. The number 2 recommendation is planning. And there are really 3 main things that you want to make sure you accomplish. You want to be able to have a way to track the weather each day so you don't get surprised. You want to be able to have a contact list so that if you do have to leave because of an impending storm, that you can reach out and talk to the appropriate people to let them know that you're going and where you're going. And it's very important to let someone know that you're going to head out on the road, particularly during an evacuation, and so that they know that you've left, and then also you need to make sure you contact them when you arrive. And then finally, the last one is route planning. Because what you want to do is wherever you're at, you want to make sure that if you're a full-timer and you're changing locations through the hurricane season, you want to make sure that you have a plan wherever you're at to be able to get to a safe area. And basically you have three parts of the recommendation for that. Make sure you at least have 3 different directions. So here we are near Pensacola. We have routes to go either towards the east, towards the west, or go towards the north. And that really depends on which way the storm is going. And then you also want to make sure you go about 300 miles. And the reason for that is you want to make sure that you're not still near a coast where you can be harmed, or the weather after the hurricane comes in and causes you issues. But you also want to be further away so that you can kind of separate yourself from the other people who've evacuated. And then finally, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the routes you pick are routes that have fuel along the way. Now in our instance, we have a 90-gallon fuel tank. And so if we went 400, 450 miles, we'd still have about half a tank when we arrived. So in our RV, we have a great endurance. But if you have a smaller endurance, like 200-300 miles, based upon your truck and what you're pulling, then you need to consider making sure that there's fuel along the way so you don't get caught with shortages. Our experience with evacuations is the closer to the evacuated area, the quicker you'll run out of fuel So the further you go out, you'll start seeing more and more opportunities for it. And depending on the severity of the storm, if the evacuation is a broad swath of like Alabama and the panhandle of Florida, then you're going to have a lot of competition for the resources. And so what you'll see is just simple, go onto Google, look at your GPS and figure out a route of where you want to go that's sort of eastern or northern or western. So planning is our second recommendation. And we're going to head back outside for the rest of the recommendations. Now that we've done talking about planning, the number 3 recommendation we have is around maintenance. And that's maintenance of your RV and the vehicles associated with your RV. If it's the vehicle that you use to tow your RV or a vehicle that you might tow by your RV. And this is important because you want to be able to leave when you want to leave if weather requires it, or you don't want to break down when you're on the road. And why this is important, because a lot of times as evacuations occur, if you don't get out early, the evacuation routes get crowded and can be very slow. So back in Hurricane Irma, my parents, which live in the St. Petersburg area, were coming up to visit us in the Pensacola area to get away from Irma. And they left and went up US 19, and they were going to make a 5-hour trip to Tallahassee, stop for the night, and then come to us in Pensacola about 3 hours later. Well, that trip for them took 14 hours because of how jammed the evacuation route was. So you want to make sure that your RV and vehicles are in good maintenance so you don't have to really worry about that when the time comes to deal with an impending storm. Our 4th recommendations for being prepared for a hurricane is associated with the engine. And what we're talking about is the engine in your RV or in the towing vehicle of your RV, and also with the vehicle that's being towed by your RV. And why this is important is you don't want to have to worry about changing the oil and the coolant levels, just as the storm's arriving. So what you want to do is make sure particularly that your coolant levels are set correctly, because very common when you're evacuating, you get caught into a lot of heavy traffic and it takes a lot longer to be able to move along. And so with that, you want to make sure that you don't have to worry about overheating if traffic is stop and go. So the engine is a very important piece of how you're going to be able to get your RV out of a dangerous area. Number 5 on our list is tires. And tires are very important for you to be able to move your RV, obviously. And so what you want to do is you want to make visual checks of the tire to make sure that the tread is good, that there's no irregularities in the tire, no bulging that's going on or anything like that, to make it safe. You also want to make sure that the tire's inflated appropriately. And then what you're going to want to do is if a storm starts appearing, you're going to want to go back out and make sure all the tires are inflated so that you can have the littlest amount of time to get and go when you need to go. So make sure that you have your tires all reviewed and checked out before the season starts, or definitely ahead of the storm. Number 6 on our list of being prepared for a hurricane is around generators. So if you don't have a generator, then that's fine. But if you do have a generator, either one built in just like we have right here, or you have a portable, you want to make sure that generator's working ahead of time. And you want to make sure that you're able to start it up, that it works as intended. And what you're going to want to also do is when there's a storm is identified and possibly going to be coming to your area, you're going to want to go double check and make sure your generator is working. This is going to be important because you don't know what the conditions will be once you leave your area. The closer you are, the more crowded it'll be, but as you move out, you don't know what you're going to end up with. Are you going to have to do some lot docking? Are you going to be able to find a place to stay? And the generator is going to be important to recharge your batteries, or if you have one to support your AC and so forth, you're going to want to be able to have that. In our RV, we also have a residential refrigerator, so the generator is very important for us to keep our batteries charged a couple of times a day to make sure that the refrigerator is able to work. So make sure you take care of the maintenance on your generator and to make sure it works ahead of time. So the 7th thing on our list is to make sure you're looking after the fuel of your RV, and that's either the RV itself or the towing vehicle. And so for us, when season comes around, we make sure that the RV is filled up We have a 90-gallon tank, so that gives us a comfortable 700 miles or more of range, and also gives us some capacity for a generator. Because on our RV, the generator shares the same tank as we do with the fuel for the engine. So you want to make sure that you have that filled up. If there's any chance that a storm's going to come your way, you're going to want to make sure that you top off if you need to before the storm starts, because what you can find out is shortages in fuel in your area, and you don't want to get stuck that way. So as soon as you find out that there's a storm coming or possibly coming, make sure that your RV or the vehicle that tows the RV is filled up. So number 8 on our list is making sure your propane is filled up. And you should do this before the season starts, but if you're full-time and you're using it, or you're using it on weekends and so forth, just make sure it's relatively full. And particularly if a storm is identified coming towards your area, then what you want to do is make sure you fill it up. So if you happen to have portable tanks, like in a travel trailer or fifth wheel or other vehicles, then you can take those out and get them refilled. In the case of like our RV right here, we'll have to move the RV to be able to have it filled up. But make sure your propane is filled up, because depending on what type of RV you're in, it will either be like ours, it supports hot water and for our stovetop. In many RVs, the refrigerator also runs off the propane. So make sure you're not caught with having too little propane in your tank. Make sure that you have it filled up and keep it filled up mostly during the season. Number 9 on our list of recommendations is around weather radios and weather apps. So if you have a weather radio or an app on your phone, you'll be able to be alerted to when weather's potentially coming your way associated with a hurricane. And then what you can also do is use that when you are actually evacuating. You'll be able to keep an eye on how the weather's going. So if any alerts come up along the way, you're in the position that you'll know about it. Number 10 on our list of recommendations is your appliances, and you want to make sure they're in good working order. You want to test them out before the season begins. And also, if there's any chance that weather comes your way that you're going to have to evacuate, you want to make sure they're in good working order too at that point. So you want to try them out. So what we're mostly talking about is the stovetop and also the refrigerator. And as it relates to refrigerator, if you have a RV style refrigerator that also runs off of propane and electrical, you're going to want to make sure that that's working. At the point that the storm looks imminent and there's a chance you might have to evacuate, you're going to want to then turn on the refrigerator so that it's cooled down at the point that you have to choose to go or not. And so you want to make sure that your appliances are working for you, so that if you do have to evacuate and then return, then there's less of an issue with the whole trip. So number 11 on our list is water. And being with an RV, it's one of the resources you need to manage. And the water on the RV can be used for drinking, cooking, but also used for the toilets and showers. And since you're not sure what you're going to have when you evacuate, then you want to make sure that you have the amount of water that you're comfortable with. One of the things you need to do with your system prior to storms arriving or even the season is look at sanitizing your fresh water system. And that's always really helpful. And then when you go out on the road, depending on how much water you have in your tank, you also want to make sure that your gray and black tanks are as empty as possible. Now, in our RV, we're very comfortable filling our freshwater tank up and driving around with it. It's about 90 gallons because we have a diesel pusher, have the carrying capacity, and it doesn't affect our driving. But if your RV is the kind where you don't want to run much water in the freshwater tank, or you're not comfortable with any at all, what you can also do is you have options like this 5-gallon container, which you can carry in your truck or in your RV as auxiliary water if you're not comfortable with the water being in your tank. So make sure that you fill up when the storm starts approaching. Don't wait till the last moment, and then you'll have the water you need when you evacuate. Number 12 on our list of things to do to prepare for a hurricane is to make sure you have some readily handy cash. And cash is very important in case of emergencies, because there may be situations where various stores and retailers won't be able to process your credit cards or debit cards and so forth. So you want to have some amount of cash on hand that you're comfortable with to tide you over in case you have to pick up fuel on the way or any other items. So make sure that you get the cash out early. Don't wait till the last minute. So our recommendation is get the cash out that you need as an emergency amount before the season starts, if possible. So now for our bonus item. And our bonus item as a recommendation in this video is get yourself a Berkey water filter or some other filtration system that you can take just about any water and it'll filter out so that you can make it drinkable. Nice thing about the Berkey is it has no electrical parts, no moving parts. It's a gravity-fed system. We've had it for about 4 years. We originally got it before the RV to make sure that if during hurricane season we were caught without potable water, we could be able to take almost any water source, run it through it, and make sure it's safe. And we use it on a daily basis to make sure our water is good for drinking, but also making sure that it'll strip out things like the fluoride and chloride out of it for us to drink. Why this is important is that if you are out and evacuated and you're not able to get to water, you can use almost any type of source. If it would be a pond, a river, a creek, or otherwise, to be able to get water if need be. The other thing is upon your return, your water system might have issues so that the water's not potable. You may have boil orders or other things like this. With the Berkey filter or other systems like it, you'll be able to have water until such time that the potable water is available. So this is why we want to make sure that you are aware of filtering systems that you can use during hurricane season to make sure that you have the water you need when you need it. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. And my question to you is, have you ever been through a hurricane? If so, please put in the comments below. Also, if there's something that we left off this list that you think would be important for preparing for a hurricane with an RV, please also add that below. And since we're always looking to improve, feel free to provide comments on what you might think we could do better. If you found this information helpful, please press the like, and also please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you.